Hello everyone. Today we will discuss chapter 5 physics of class 7th, that is heat part 1. So let's start. What are the topics we will be discussing in this session? So in this session we will learn how to define heat as a form of energy. Next, what are the units of heat? Next, physical quantities, temperature, and how to measure temperature with SI units and some common units also. Next, we will also discuss about the measurement of temperature and the scales of temperature. So let's start, children. Heat is a form of energy. Basically, we know that the sun is the ultimate source of all the energy, heat energy, and we are living on the earth, so we receive all the heat energy mainly from sun itself, right? So it is our daily life experience that when we rub our palms, so they get heated because the mechanical energy spent in rubbing palms changes into heat energy. Similarly, on burning coal or cooking gas, heat is produced because there the chemical energy is changing into heat energy. Likewise, when we touch any hot water, so we feel very warm, and when we touch ice cubes or ice creams we feel cold. What is the reason here? When we are touching the hot water, so the heat energy flows from hot water to our hand, and when we touch the ice cube or ice, so the heat energy flows from our hand to the ice cube. So we can say that heat is a form of energy which flows from a hot body to a cold body when they are kept in contact. Okay, children. So this is about the heat, which is a form of energy. So remember here that heat is always flowing from the hot body to a cold body only. Next, the units of heat. The SI unit of heat is joule and its symbol is capital J. So apart from the SI unit, we are using some other common units of heat. Those are calorie, the symbol is cal, and kilocalorie, the symbol is kcal. So here the relation between kilocalorie and cal is 1 kilocal is equals to 1000 cal, right? Next, how to define this 1 calorie and 1 kilocalorie. So here is the definition given. 1 calorie is defined as the heat energy required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water by 1 degree centigrade. So this is important definition. Next, we have 1 kilocalorie is the heat energy required to increase the temperature of 1 kg of water by 1 degree centigrade. Now, what is the relationship between joule and calorie? So, this relation is important. So, 1 cal is equals to nearly 4.2 joules, or we can also say that 1 joule is equals to 0.24 calorie. Okay, so this is all about the heat. Now, we are going to learn about the temperature. So, what is the temperature? It is the quantity which tells us the degree of hotness and coldness of a body, right? So, if a body is heated, so obviously its temperature rises up, and when it is cool, its temperature falls. Now, what are the units of temperature? The SI unit of temperature is Kelvin. Symbol is K. Children, one important note is given here. When you are writing the symbol of Kelvin, it should be K only. Don't write it as degree here. This is not valid. You just have to write K as a symbol. Okay. Next, we have how to measure the temperature. Definitely, we must have some devices to measure the temperature. So, that device name is known as thermometer, which is a very common device. We all know that thermometer is basically used to measure the temperature of a body, right? Let's see how it works. A thermometer works on the thermal expansion of liquids, right? The most common type of thermometer which we are using in the laboratory is mercury thermometer. See in this figure 5.3, we have a thermometer. So here it consists of a glass capillary tube with a bulb at one end. And the bulb is filled with mercury. And this long part of the capillary tube is called the stem. So, children, you see here, stem has some marking here. It starts from minus 10 degree centigrade and it ends at 110 degree centigrade. So, here, total with 120 equal divisions are there in between. And its zero mark, which is also called as the ice point or the lower fixed point, is at the level of mercury in the capillary. And when it bulbs is kept in melting ice, okay, and the 100 part, that means this one, which is called the steam point or the upper fixed point, is at the level of mercury in the capillary when the bulb is kept in the boiling water. That means when we are keeping the bulb in the melting ice, it will show zero mark, and when we are keeping the bulb in the boiling water, it will show 100 mark here. Okay, children. Next, the measuring the temperature of a body using a thermometer. So basically, we know that we measure the temperature of a body with the help of a thermometer, and the bulb of the thermometer is kept in contact with the body. Then what happens? The mercury which is inside the thermometer slightly rises in the capillary, and after that, we have to wait for some time. Now, when the mercury does not rise further, that means it gets stabilizes, we have to note down the reading up to which the mercury has risen. But you have to keep one point here: when you are measuring the reading or the temperature in the thermometer, you have to keep your eye in the horizontal line of the level of mercury. Then only you can note down the temperature of the body correctly. As you see in this figure 5.4, the level of temperature is up to 30 degrees centigrade, exactly, if you can see. So we can say that the temperature of water is 30 degree centigrade. So this is how we can measure the temperature of water also. Okay, you can dip the thermometer inside the beaker such that the bulb is completely immersed in water, and it will not touch the other part of the beaker, only the water it should touch. So here also, when you place it, you have to wait for the mercury till it rises, and when it becomes stationary, you can read the mark of the level of mercury by keeping your eye as shown here in this figure. Okay, so this is how we can measure the temperature of water also. Next, we have the scales of temperature. So this is generally divided into three: the Celsius scale, the Fahrenheit scale, and the Kelvin scale. So let's talk about the Celsius scale first. This scale was introduced by the Swedish astronomer Celsius and is known after his name. So, on this scale, the ice point is marked as 0 degree centigrade and the steam point is marked as 100 degree centigrade. I told you earlier also, ice point is nothing but your melting point, which is 0 degree centigrade, and steam point is nothing but the boiling point. Okay. Next, the interval between this ice point and the steam point is divided into 100 equal parts. So each division is called 1 degree Celsius and it is written as degree Celsius scale. Next is Fahrenheit scale. This scale was introduced by Fahrenheit, and this scale is generally used for clinical purposes. So on this scale, the ice point is marked as 32 Fahrenheit and the steam point is marked as 212 Fahrenheit. And the interval between the ice point and the steam point is divided into 180 equal parts in this case. So each division is called degree Fahrenheit and it is written as degree F. The next type is the Kelvin scale. So, children, this scale was introduced by the great scientist Kelvin, and it is also called the absolute scale of temperature. I have mentioned this in the note. And the second note is on this scale, the zero mark, that is 0 Kelvin, is at the temperature when there is no molecular motion. That means the molecules are not in motion. So at that point, this maintains the temperature of 0 Kelvin. Okay. So the ice point is marked 273 Kelvin and the steam point is 373 Kelvin. And here the interval between the ice point and the steam point is divided into 100 equal parts, which is same as that of the Celsius scale. In Celsius scale also, these intervals are 100 equal parts only. Okay, children. So now we have the diagram for these three scales of temperature. This the first one is the Celsius scale, second is the Fahrenheit scale because it's starts from 32 Fahrenheit, that is the ice point, and the steam point is 212 Fahrenheit, and the divisions are 180 here. In Celsius scale, the divisions are 100, and in Kelvin scale also, the number of divisions between the ice point and the steam point is 100 divisions. So this is from 273 Kelvin to 373 Kelvin. Okay, now we have a table also. So three scales are given, their respective symbols, ice point, steam point, and the number of divisions between the ice point and steam point. So with the help of this table, you can easily remember and identify, or I should say you can distinguish between the three scales of temperature easily. So you need to remember this table. This is important. All right. Now we will see the relationship between three scales of temperature. So what is the relation here? Basically, this much is not required, only the formula is required. But let us understand this. The first one is if we have to convert Celsius into Kelvin scale. So what we supposed to do? So here we have the ice point of Celsius, that is 0 degree centigrade, equals to Kelvin scale 273, and the steam point is 100 degree centigrade and 273 Kelvin. So if you have to measure the temperature in the degree centigrade, so you have to add 273 just to the temperature given. So whatever temperature is given and you have to convert that Celsius into Kelvin, you just have to add the 273 to that. So you will get that in Kelvin scale easily. Next is the between Celsius and Fahrenheit. If you have to convert Celsius into Fahrenheit scale, so what you have to do? So this much is not required. You just have to see here this relation. So let me come from this point. Ice point of Celsius is 0 degree centigrade equals to 32 degree Fahrenheit. Steam point is 100 degree centigrade, which is equals to 212 degree of Fahrenheit. So here you have to remember that 1 degree on Celsius scale will be equal to 9 upon 5 degree on Fahrenheit scale. So by this relation we can get this F is equals to 9 upon 5 centigrade plus 32. Solve this, you will get this final result, which you need to remember. This is only what you need to remember here, because with this formula you can convert the different scales. C upon 5 equals to Fahrenheit minus 32 upon 9. So this formula can be used to convert Celsius into Fahrenheit or Fahrenheit into Celsius. So let us see some examples based on this. First example, here we have to convert children 0 degree centigrade into Fahrenheit. So just now we have seen this relation from Celsius to Fahrenheit we are converting. So what we are going to do, we are putting 0 in place of C just for simplification. Okay. So 0 upon 5 equals to F minus 32 upon 9. Now simple mathematical calculation you have to do. Do the cross multiplication here. 0 into 9 equals to 5 into F minus 32. Now open the brackets because 0 into anything is 0. So 5 into F, 5F minus 160 because 5 into 32 is 160. Now bring this value 5f to the other side, it will become plus. So 5f equals to 160 and f is equals to 160 upon 5, that is 32. So we have converted 0 degree centigrade is equals to how many Fahrenheit? 32 degree Fahrenheit. Okay children, so like this With the help of this relation, we can convert Celsius into Fahrenheit. Next, another example we have where we have to convert 100 degree Celsius into Fahrenheit. So you can use the same relation here. Here it is specified because in the previous question it was 0 degree centigrade, so that's why we have used 0. Here it is 100 degree centigrade, so here we are using 100 upon 5 equals to F minus 32 upon 9. Again, same thing, cross multiplication. 9 into 100, 900 equals to 5 into F minus 32. Solve, we will get F is equals to 212. So we can say that 100 degrees centigrade is equals to 212 Fahrenheit. So this is how we can convert the value. So that's all for this session. Thank you all of you.